Good morning and welcome to part 2 of this prepping for the winter series. This is the second one I'm making. It's actually a bit of a clarification to the first one, and also to mention a couple of people and give a shout out to a channel which you may find of interest. Now, when I was describing about excuse me a moment, an alternative cooking system, I mentioned about a spirit burner, just showed you this box and assumed everybody knew what it was. But of course not everybody does know what a spirit burner is. So as you can see from the kit, you get this, because it's basically for camping, this is like a windshield. You get a tiny little pot, a lid which can be a frying pan with this as a handle. And these are the tops to the actual spirit burner. Now if I move that out of the way, this is the actual spirit burner. It's only a small little thing. This bit here lifts off. Now this, I don't know if this is just with the Trangia set, but this isn't vital. But when you order a spirit burner online, as I said you can get them, this is what you would get. It's basically just a little pot. It's got a screw lid. It's got a rubber seal on it so that your methylated spirits or alcohol in there, once you put the top on, it's sealed in. You don't have to try and empty this out back into a bottle. Around the outside you'll see all the holes. Now you fill that with as much liquid as you need, and you'll gauge that as you go on. If you're just going to boil a kettle or something, you'll know roughly how much you need, and if it's too much, that's not a problem because you can seal the top. Now with a match, you stick your match in there, obviously light it, stick it in there. Now it won't seem as if it's lit, and you think, oh, it's not lit, but believe me, if you just put your hand about 6 inches above it, forward and back, you'll know if it's lit because you will feel the heat. So don't think it's not lit and start touching it because you'll burn yourself. And eventually, all those holes, the flame from the spirit will plume and it'll come out of all these holes, and it'll just look like a ring on your gas hob, and then you can start using it. Now this, I'm not going to be using that little flimsy stand they give you. I shall simply stand this on my hob, because my hob is a gas hob anyway, and I can use the pan holders that obviously you would normally use with your gas hob to support the pan. So that's the way I shall do it. To put it out, now, as I say, this Trangia one comes with this fancy dandy little sliding top. I can just put that on like that when I took my pan off. Now, as you know, a fire needs oxygen, it needs a heat source, and it needs fuel. Take one of them things away, it goes out. So we've just taken away oxygen, that will go out. Once it's gone out and it's cooled down, you can put your lid back on. Now, if you haven't got one of these in the one you buy, no problem. Just take the lid upside down. Let's not ruin the rubber seal. It does exactly the same thing. It's not going to get hot because the flame's going to go almost immediately. Job's a good one. Okay, so that's the first thing. Assuming everybody knows about a spirit burner and what spirit burner is was a mistake by me. So hopefully that's clarified it a bit. It's very simple, it's very cheap, but it works. I've used these many times, and believe me, it's great, and it's cheap. That's the beauty of it. You can buy all sorts of stuff now with gas bottles, but I don't want that. I want something that is easily controllable. I don't particularly want gas bottles and things in the house. You may feel differently, but for me, it's worked for many years, this type of burner, and I'll continue to use it. Right, I'll stop it for a second and I'll be back. Right, back again. Now I noticed when I watched back the first episode, I sort of kind of cut off the top of the plant pot for our heating system. So I just wanted to clarify what it looks like. There's the upturned plate or saucer on it. I take that off. There's just some coins, just 4 piles of 3 coins. That allows the heat to escape from the hole at the bottom of the plant pot, or in this case top of the plant pot, the way it is now, and hit the bottom of the plate and come into the room. But then somebody who watched the video, a gentleman by the name of Grant Jones, suggested, because we've only got that one ring spirit burner, why not put a pan on top? You could then warm up some soup, some beans, or anything like that. And it's blindingly obvious, but I didn't think of it. So thanks, Grant, for that. But taking that item further, now a pan might be a bit heavy for this, but what I've come up with is I've got one of these ceramic enamel. I keep saying ceramic, I don't know, I've got ceramic on the brain. It's an enamel bowl. Lightweight. I could sit that on the top and it'll do exactly this. Look, I'm still going too low, aren't I? And it'll do exactly the same job. Half fill it with water, and thanks to Ralph Astley, another one who commented, a thermos flask. If that's half full of water as a byproduct of heating the room, and the bottom of this basin or pan is still going to do exactly the same job as the plate was doing, but as a byproduct I'm getting some, not boiling water, but hot water. Transfer that into your thermos flask and you're going to build up a steady source of hot water throughout the day, and that's perfect for washing pots, washing yourself, having a shave, and any general cleaning duties around the house where you need some hot water. So that's brilliant, and it's going to do that while you've got your heater on. Now you might have something like this, and as I said, a pan might be a bit heavy, but there's these metal foil containers. You could put one of them on. You know, it does the same job. Don't fill it to the top, obviously, you only put an inch in. You know, it's going to be going all day, so just put an inch in, and then when it gets hot enough, transfer it to the thermos flask. And it's so blindingly obvious, but I didn't see it, so thank you, Grant, for that, and also, of course, Ralph for reminding me about a thermos flask, which is again something I should have had on the table. It's absolutely ridiculous not having thought of that. But that's why you make these videos. People come back with ideas that you haven't thought of. And on that note, I want to give a shout out to a new channel. It's called, well, she just recently changed the name. It did have a different name, but it's now called When Life Hands You Lemons, which is a great title, isn't it? When Life Hands You Lemons. Now, this lady, she's from the UK. She made a video, I think the day after I made my initial video, and she had exactly the same thoughts and worries that I had, and she was showing what she's collecting, and it was interesting to watch. And she's going to do a second part about products for cleaning and hygiene, which I'm looking forward to watching, because yeah, I'm a big useless bloke, aren't I? I got, you know, I'm act manager of the bar of soap and some shampoo made, but she's going to come up with, and I don't mean this in a sexist way, meaning the female knows these things and I don't know. I mean it in a positive way, but she'll come up with things that I probably never even thought of until the day I needed it. But she will probably come up with ideas to things to purchase that I'm going to need, but just haven't thought of because I'm a big ignorant bloke. So I'm looking forward to the second part of her series to see what she's getting and see what ideas I can use for mine. Well, I'll try and put a link to the channel on this video, but I'm a bit of a Luddite with computers. It might work, it might not, but as I say, it's called When Life Hands You Lemons. So if the link doesn't work, you can search her out like from that. Okay, I'll stop the video now. That was just a clarification of what had gone before, just assuming people knew what a spirit burner was. Never assume. And the great ideas that were put forward by a couple of people regarding what I'd shown you. So, excellent. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Bye for now.